Hi, I'm Tame Fuller, and I get to be the Programs Director for the Nourishing Network.
Wonderful to be here. My name is Dr. Steve Woodard. I have the honor of serving as one of our Board of Trustees for the Foundation for Edmonds School District. During the day, however, I have two jobs. My first is I serve as our Vice President of Community Engagement for Volunteers of America Western Washington. Love that organization. And then I also have the honor, thanks to our residents, of representing Mount Lake Terrace on our City Council. I serve in position 2.
So our Holiday Meals program is meant to provide these families that are struggling a big, full, sit-down meal with turkey, all the sides, the desserts, just the whole thing. Very lavish, nice dinner for them.
It was actually bigger than just holiday meals, of course. We not only delivered meals, we actually were able to also play the role of Santa for a little bit there and bring holiday gifts as well, which all of our families seemed genuinely shocked to learn that not only were we thinking about their stomachs, we were also thinking about their playtime. It was actually pretty scary, if I can be genuine with you, this particular time around, because we actually had horrible weather that we were dealing with. Wonderful holiday weather, but not wonderful weather to be out on the roads. So we were dealing with snow, and that snow, of course, turned into ice. And that ice was not very friendly because we live in a very hilly place.
The first Tuesday of the week we had the holiday meals delivery. It started snowing, then it started snowing pretty heavy. We had 2 volunteer teams that were going to come out and help, one from Holy Apostles, one from Jaya Cafe. I was expecting 8 to 10 volunteers from each, but then the weather started.
It's a complicated forecast. We are about to experience a somewhat rare ice storm tomorrow morning.
It is a first alert weather day, a rare freezing rain event.
So with the potential of freezing rain tonight into tomorrow, there are big concerns about power outages.
We've just definitely witnessed a big old crash here.
New video just into our newsroom. Kay Bergsey recorded this scene today overlooking a hill in Seattle's Queen Anne neighborhood. Ooh, you can see that car sliding.
Flat on its side.
I saw her just going down. I'm like, oh, this is bad. And I'm like, oh my God, she just flipped her car.
And so I wondered, oh, is it just going to be 2 or 3 or 4 people, that make it out in order to do this? But what happened instead was just fantastic. Not only did the teams come out, they actually called their neighbors and friends and other people and just rallied to the occasion to get everything done.
So the families, as we were delivering them, when we were very fortunate that they answered the door, I have to say we were sometimes leaving the door. We wanted to keep social distancing in mind, but we would deliver the food and then we would text to say, hey, it's outside. And then in those moments, they would come to the door and you could just see them light up, especially recognizing that we were taking a risk being out there. So I want to make sure that all the volunteers are acknowledged for really stepping up and going above and beyond, because it was very clear and evident on the families' faces. I didn't get to see any of the young ones, which would have been fun, but you could see it in the parents' eyes, just the gratitude, the appreciation, and quite frankly, the pure joy of receiving without necessarily even knowing. What we figured out is, I think neighbors sometimes were signing families up, which is just, truly the giving spirit in the holidays in general.
It was actually really fitting for the season. I have a friend who says no battle or no challenges, no victory. And sometimes you have to overcome obstacles to have a chance for people to rise and shine and step into the moment. So that combination of the difficulties with the weather in particular, and the desire for people to serve their neighbors and to not let the weather stop them, that all created this great opportunity for volunteers just to rise and shine with the occasion. And they certainly did so. I mean, we had way more volunteers than we had anticipated, and our delivery volunteers overcame the road conditions and everything else to deliver holiday meals near and far. I mean, we delivered all the way out to Granite Falls and other places where people participate in the school district that don't live close. So, I mean, people really had to go the distance to make those things happen.
These holiday meals were going to our most vulnerable families, and that can't be downplayed. These are community members that we interact with on a day-to-day basis and aren't in the habit of sharing their story. So one, I want to, applaud them for having the courage to put their name down and say, hey, we could use this assistance. We always want to remind people this is a hand up, not a handout. So keeping that in mind and recognizing that these families are with us throughout the year, this is truly, looking back on it, just an additional opportunity to be blessed as a whole community, to recognize that the gifts themselves came from somewhere, so there was that act, but then the receiving part and the gratitude that was there was amazing. And again, these were families who probably are on some levels used to being let down. I do remember one family was just amazed. I ended up talking to them on the phone afterwards that we had even come out. They would have completely understood if we hadn't shown up. But we knew in our heart of hearts that that was not going to happen. We were definitely going to be there for them. From their perspective, they weren't forgotten. They weren't put on a second list of, oh, we'll get back to you. We were going to make sure, by hook or crook, as my dad would have said back in the day, that you were going to be served because you were definitely in our hearts and on our minds. And in this particular case, we just had to work a little bit harder to figure out how to bring those worlds together and make sure that you were served in a timely manner, in a respectful manner, and more importantly, recognizing that you are an important part of the fabric of our community. And quite frankly, to keep it simple, if you didn't know if we loved you, you should know for sure we love you, because that was absolutely above and beyond asking our volunteers to come out, put themselves just for a moment in someone else's space and recognize how would you feel if you weren't able to have something that you weren't necessarily expecting but definitely needed, and to have those worlds come together was just an honor to be a part of. There's no other way to put it. It was just an honor to be a part of that process.